And now for the final time in 2022 is Andrew Clennell with his crystal ball. Andrew, we've got a special set of predictions for the year ahead, and there's one in particular. It featured very early on in the Prime Minister's victory speech on election night, this commitment to constitutional recognition of Australia's Indigenous people.
Yes, Kieran, it's come along quickly, hasn't it? The last few years have, but the referendum on the Indigenous Voice to Parliament will be in the second half of next year. And I'm predicting the Australian public will vote for it, that it will be successful. And perhaps opposition leader Peter Dutton will even support it if the polls show it is a winner for the government. So that is certainly a big event of next year, no matter which way it goes, but I think it can actually get up. And Anthony Albanese's made that clear. He wants that as a legacy. And he believes that's a way to advance the cause of Indigenous people in this country when other measures have failed. 30 years yesterday since Paul Keating's Redfern speech. So anyway, that will dominate a lot of discussion next year.
Absolutely. The other big issue heading into the new year, and it's certainly been a big part of this year, is that inflation backdrop. It's going to say so much about government policy, RBA policy. Where to on that front, do you think?
Yeah, and it was interesting to hear Ted O'Brien say earlier that this time next year we'll still be talking about electricity bills. He might be right about that. Anyway, the hopes of the government are that inflation will start falling in the first half of the year and these interest rate rises will stop. Plenty of us with mortgages hoping for that too. This prediction is born more out of hope than anything, though, I think, but a global recession seems likely, although Australia's mineral wealth is likely to spare this country a recession.
Now, on to defence policy. It's a big few months ahead. We've got this break over summer. I think you and I will need it. We've got the New South Wales election looming in March, but also before that, this defence review. It's a big one, isn't it, for the government? Yes,
and this is my last day till next year, so I wanted to say Merry Christmas to the viewers and their families. But look, this third prediction will see a defence strategic review in March where the government will make it clear the nuclear submarines are a goer. And I expect to see a big increase in defence spending in this country. So that's another big landmark for the year ahead.
And as I mentioned, New South Wales election, good news is we've got another People's Forum locked in with, or soon to be locked in, I believe, with Dominic Perrottet and Chris Minns, just working on the dates for that. But that's another lead up to the New South Wales election like we had recently with the Victorian election and the federal election. What's your read on where the politics are right now in New South Wales? Because really the Liberal Party in government there, but not very popular elsewhere in the nation right now. Labor is ascendant.
Well, you've done well to get that locked in so early, Kieran. So, well, that is the other thing happening in March, New South Wales state election. After 12 years in office, I believe Dominic Perrottet's coalition are the underdogs in this fight. They have to battle the Teals in the northern part of Sydney and Labor in the outer suburbs and regions. But Labor has to win a fair few seats, about 7, to get a majority. I'm tipping a narrow Minns majority, but the Liberals, I'm tipping, will throw everything at Labor and its young leader in the campaign. The gloves will be off in that contest, Kieran.
And coming up this week, actually the following week, the 21st of December it is, from memory, the 50th anniversary of Australia's diplomatic ties with China. We've seen it really establish an even keel, haven't we, in recent months? It's been a significant part of the first year of the Albanese government, Andrew.
It'll continue to be a challenge. And I suspect we'll see a visit from Penny Wong to China. Will we see a visit from Anthony Albanese either next year or shortly thereafter? But, you know, that tension is always just bubbling away, Kieran. It wouldn't take much to return back to a relationship where there's no dialogue. So that's obviously going to feature in the year ahead. Look, the other thing that might feature in the year ahead, and if it were to take place, I think it would be quite controversial. I think there's a chance Kevin Rudd could end up ambassador to Washington. That posting and what happens with it after Arthur Sinodinos finishes his term, that will be keenly watched. And Philip Lowe, in September, his governorship of the Reserve Bank is up. I think it's fair to say he'll be replaced in that role, Kieran.